Are you ready for love? Hi, I'm Marcus Holmes, the facilitator of the Love and Stuff community, and we're ready for you to join us on the next episode of the Dating Game. Forget all of the social distancing. Let's get up close and personal online. And who knows, you might make a heart connection that will lead you to a private Zoom room date. Inbox me now at Marcus R. Holmes or at Love and Stuff for your opportunity to connect closer while we are so far apart. Stay safe and be well. And good evening. I am excited to be here with you through Restream across a number of platforms, but here at home in the Love and Stuff community, I'm Marcus Holmes, and I am your facilitator of all things love and stuff. And so I am grateful that you are here. Now we are live tonight on LinkedIn Live as well, which we typically are not live on LinkedIn Live with Love and Stuff. But tonight I thought I would share a little bit with our LinkedIn audience. So you're kind of getting the opportunity to be with us live as well. We're live on YouTube events and on the Marcus R. Holmes page and the Love and Stuff page. And we are excited to be here. We had hoped to have some information, at least here locally in the state of Michigan, from the Secretary of State that would give us a chance to shout out the zip codes and clusters of our area that have traditionally, or at least in the last few elections, had low turnout, in the hopes that we could ignite and spark the conscience of those who may be apathetic or who may be saying that they're going to sit at home, they don't know who to vote for. We want you to definitely vote and vote your conscience, and we make no bones about it. If your conscience is our current administration, we want you to pray about it. But we certainly want you to vote and be engaged in the process. I'm just looking across platforms to be able to share. All right. And so, all right, I want to make sure that, all right, thank you so much. I'm just checking across platforms to see who has joined in with us. And if you are here, click tag someone in your circle of influence, 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular LinkedIn friends, to join us in the conversation. All right, I am just going to take a quick look across platforms. As you share, I'm just sharing what the view looks like from where I am sitting. So give me 1 second, I'm just checking the view. All right. Fantastic. All right. And while I'm doing that, those that may be joining across platforms, if you drop in the comments where you are and what the temperature is like, I will be able to know that you are here and tracking with us. All right. I wanted to share an interesting read, and I will post the link in the comments across platforms, that I read on the Washington Post, and I won't read it in its entirety. It's dated October 27, today's date, around 2:06 p.m. earlier. Talks about Mr. Trump has visited his own properties more than 280 times since he took office. These visits brought the president to familiar places full of friends, family, and political supporters. And they also brought his company money from American taxpayers. The total, at least $2.5 million in taxpayer funds. Much of that spending was triggered by Trump's travel or the travel of his family, aides, or friends. It goes on to say quite a bit about a number of dinners that were not only hosted at Trump facilities, but some of them when there was no food served, and there was still a bill given to the government. I thought it was important to highlight that. I just think when we're talking about responsible government, which I hear people talking quite often about, I'm not sure that this is indicative of that, but we'll continue to follow the story to see if there are maybe some justifications for that type of spending. Let's see. Has anyone? Okay. Brenda Landry. Hello, Corey Reed. Hello, North Richland Hills, Texas. It's 43 degrees there. Thank you for joining us. Our associate producer is on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. And I hope that you will click share. Again, I typically don't do the Love and Stuff on Tuesday night, including the LinkedIn community. It's much more formal community, but I'm bringing part of my authentic self. So I hope that those in the LinkedIn community are enjoying this opportunity. Jones Love from Monroe, Michigan. It's very cold here, Marcus. It's 38 degrees where I am, and I couldn't believe it was that cold until I decided to go to the car with no coat on. Don't do that again. Very, very cold. And so I wanted to talk, there are a lot of things I wanted to talk about, including Mr. Trump's organization receiving money, hosting events, hosting prime ministers from other countries at his properties instead of at the White House. And one of them, I think the comments remarked that he said one of his properties was the Southern White House. So there was charges for $3 for water. Of course, there are places you could go and you could get $3 bottled water, but so I don't know if that's unreasonable, but you might, find that it might not be something that you would expect the president to bill from his property. Records show that the Trump's adult children have driven business to their family company by visiting Trump properties with their own Secret Service agents in tow. So, interesting. We've heard a lot about and not enough about Trump's tax situation, his taxes that he's paid or not paid. And the wealthy say, hey, that's smart. You shouldn't have to pay a lot of taxes. Well, there are a lot of differing opinions on that. But as a citizen of these United States, I would be concerned if the president is hosting things at his facilities that he's owned and we are paying him to host it. I'm not sure I'm feeling so good about that. I also wanted to mention, because again, it was front of mind today, to dedicate our show to helping spark and ignite some people who might either be on the fence as to who they might vote for, who have decided not to vote. And I was hoping here in Michigan, among many states like Ohio and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, that in some of those states that might be to some degree considered battleground, that we could get from the Secretary of State, not the list of voters, but the area by percentages where there are registered voters, but there were low voter turnout. Now, some of that might mean because some areas, people have left those areas, right? And there's less population in those areas. But my intent with that information was then to hold rally moments here on Facebook and send shouts out to the zip codes and the clusters in that area, the businesses and the churches in that area, to join me live so that we could rally people in that area to vote. Here, there is same-day registration for voting. So, we've got just a week to get people who aren't registered to voting, they're registered rather, and just a week to get those who are saying, I don't want either of these guys, or I don't like this, or I don't like that, to get them thinking about the privilege, I call it, of voting. It's a right, but the privilege of voting. I was talking to my niece Tamara, and she was recounting of our maternal grandfather's journey to voting, and he had to walk. So my grandmother, his wife, packed him a lunch to go to the poll, and he walked all the way to the poll, and they, told him, you got to verify who you are. We need the deed to your house. And so he walks all the way back home to get the deed to his home. It was that kind of environment. And so today you got people saying, I ain't voting. It does something to the core of me because I know that our people went through a great deal to vote. Now, it isn't about vote one and done and go away. It's vote for the president, vote and have your relatives vote to turn the red house blue. You know what I'm saying? So that when Joe Biden becomes president, and that's my prayer, that he will have a blue house, he will have a blue Congress to help get some of the things done. And it doesn't end there. We have to still be activated and still be concerned about what you heard someone say last week, this misnomer of black on black crime. I don't agree it's a misnomer, but I know there are many underlying issues under black crime. It's not to condone the crime, but I think we do have an issue, and it's worth us digging into, rolling up our sleeves and bringing some help to the situation. So among many things, police brutality, among many things, which I want to talk about in a moment, gun rights, a number of things, right, that you and I should be actively engaged in as it relates to our beliefs and positions on those things. So we can't any longer just sit back and be silent. Okay. Um, just checking the comments. All right, very good. And so I was hoping to get that information from the Secretary of State. Did not get that information today. So I don't have a breakdown by zip codes or clusters in Detroit. And I invite you to try to get that same information, which should be digitized by now in these days and times, from your Secretary of State. Should be able to provide you by county, by precinct, what the voter percentages were. So a 1,000 people were registered in a precinct and only 10 people showed up, right? That would be 1%, right? And if your threshold is, we're going to target every place where voter turnout was less than 20%, then you have that data. You can look on a map and get the zip codes. And then you can start to call out zip code 48221, 48219. Meet me live on Facebook. I got a pressing issue. Businesses, and you can tag businesses and churches that are in that area and do your own rally to rally the votes to get people activated, provided that they're on social media, right? Or maybe someone in their family is on social media, and bring people that can talk about why people should get out and vote their conscience. Be a part of the change that we want to see, if we want to see change. I was in a restaurant and I declined the service because I thought I already feel some kind of way about customer service. Anybody that knows me knows that. But I felt some kind of way because I was purchasing food in a restaurant that I have frequented, and they were sometimes younger people have no filter as it relates to what you're talking about around customers. And in this specific instance, my food was ready. I could see it on the shelf, the counter, whatever they will call that. And instead of packing my, putting condiments or whatever you do to wrap up the order, the young lady got engaged in a conversation with a Caucasian male who was talking about he was voting for Trump. And they begin to have this dialogue and discussion. And a couple of the other African-American young people said, yeah, at least he keeps it real. And they went on and went on. I am standing there trying to be patient to wait for my food. After 2 minutes, I stepped to the counter and talked to the microphone. So you know where I am. I'm in Detroit. I talk to the microphone and I say, excuse me, to which the young lady responded, 1 minute. I have been put on hold to discuss fake news. And instead of being livid, which I was so proud, instead of being Herbert Holmes' youngest son, I decided that I would just kindly and politely ask for a refund. And the young lady said, "You mean you waited all this time for the order and you want a refund?" I'm just going to bag it up. I said, "No, you can bag it for someone else. I'll have a refund." "Well, why do you want one?" "Because I want one now. And I'm not going to have a dialogue with you about why I want a refund. I just like my refund so you can continue your dialogue." Now, that would have been enough to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize." The Caucasian male comes, "Let me hurry up and get you your refund." I say, "Yeah, you better hurry up and get me my refund, Mr. Trump supporter. Indeed, you better." "So you mad because I support Trump?" "I'm mad that you left me standing while you decided to discuss it with your team members. My refund, please." So it's everybody's up in arms, right? I think he was the manager on duty, Craig Turner, and thank you for joining us. He was the manager on duty. I'm going to talk to the owner. I'm going to talk to the owner because it's a place that I frequent. And while I believe everybody has the right to their beliefs, and I totally am not voting for Donald Trump, I totally don't want you to vote for him. I totally disagree with anybody that wants to vote with him, though I love the people that have chosen to. It doesn't mean I don't love you. I totally disagree with you. And you have the right to your opinion, but you're not going to stop my customer service. But it's indicative of the world in which we live. And maybe we live in a world where we have that kind of leadership because that's what the world has become. Another show. But I don't have the information, but I implore you to get that information in your state. Ask the Secretary of State or whatever your version of Secretary of State is in your state for the voter percentages. I forget the exact name that I was told to ask. I asked for it. I have not received it. I'm waiting to get it. I was told I could have it. So it's public information, and use it to plot out zip codes and then come live on, say, social media or wherever your platform is, and begin to beckon the people in those areas that have not voted. We need people to turn out. We definitely need people to turn out. And while learning that I didn't get that information, I learned that a judge in our state, the great state of Michigan, decided that a tactic which I believe could be used for voter suppression is sanctioned. Our attorney general is going to appeal it, I believe. But the judge approved open carry around the polls, outside of polls. Now, I believe this is America and people have the right to bear arms. And I believe people bear arms outside of the polls. But to say it a week before might make people respond in a different way. It might incite some people. And that's a concern to me. It feels like a voter suppression tactic. Again, people have the right to bear arms, and I'm concerned the way that we have raised this information in the last 7 days of this election cycle. I want to know, what do you think? And I see that, okay, great. Trump is going to pull every trick in the book to take this election, even if someone has to die. I'm serious. I believe you, Craig. I do. I really feel some kind of way about this decision, especially in Michigan, because it's been a lot of tension here. There's been a lot of tension. There's been tension everywhere. And I think to publicly say, yes, you can bear arms outside of polls makes it even more contentious. It makes it a contentious environment. All right. I'm going to go across the platforms just to check in. Thank you so much. All right, looking at our Love and Stuff page. Okay, great. And as you are checking in with us, and I hope clicking share and tagging some folks to join us in the discussion, I wanted to take this opportunity to invite you to a wonderful event that's happening Friday right here on Facebook. It's an event sponsored by Love and Stuff entitled She's Cooking Something. And when you think of cooking something, you typically think of food, but we're thinking of ingredients and recipes, not only for food, because there'll be some of that, but ingredients and recipes for cooking up the best life for yourself. And so we have enlisted the help of some of our Love and Stuff angels to join us on Friday for our first online event. You said, what? You have an online event every Tuesday. This is our Love and Stuff community, and it's yours every Tuesday. But this special event will be our first time having a live event that is a ticketed event. Hello, Enrico White. I'd love to have you on because I want to talk to you. I want to get your thoughts on this this voter suppression, maybe. I'd love to have you on. And Craig Turner, if you're interested to inbox me, I'll send you both the link. But the event this Friday is $9.99, so $10. And what you get, you're going to get, along with these ingredients and recipes for your face, your faith, and for food, you're also going to have Rashida the Glam Dr. LaShawn here live doing a makeup tutorial. That's right. She's going to be here live doing a makeup tutorial so that you can feed your face, right? You can feed your countenance with the beauty that you know is deep inside and you can highlight on the outside. So she's going to be here, award-winning makeup artist, the owner of the Glam Doctor, Rashida the Glam Dr. LaShawn will be with us. Also, headlining our event will be MasterChef Season 8 finalist Yashika Holston. You may have seen her on MasterChef. She's going to be whipping up some great recipes and giving you some ingredients. If you want to hear her story about loving again, you don't want to miss this event. Of course, there are two staples on our rostrum who are always supporting everything Love and Stuff. And that's Valencia Etner, who we call Mama V. She'll be here kicking some of her wisdom around ingredients and recipes for a more beautiful you, a better life. And this powerhouse woman that we know as Tabitha Goodner, who is Lady Dorcas. She is a powerful preacher, extraordinaire, counselor, administrator. She will be joining us as well. All of this, 7 to 9, $9.99. You couldn't get that anywhere. And I hope that you will support Love and Stuff as we want to take it to the next level. This event is really what we were, one of the things we were building up to do is to take Love and Stuff on tour, right? You've heard us say that over times. And of course, during COVID, we couldn't take it on tour, right? We have great gifts in here like LaShawn Phoenix Coteran, who were, working toward having the spoken word aspect going out, and so many others within our community whose voices we want to elevate to align with our goal, which is to up our love game. It's to increase the amount of love in the world. And that's what our Love and Stuff community is about. It challenges you about your perspective on love. You get to hear others' perspectives on love, and you get to hopefully walk away with a little bit more information to a path of better love for your God and creator, better love for yourself, which is often neglected, better love for those around you, right? Loving him, loving yourself, loving others. And if we can do those three things better, what a better world we will have. And I tell you, it's a tough world. I learned today that a longtime friend passed away. I learned today that another distant relative committed suicide. There are so many people that are leaving Earth, and some people choosing to leave Earth, and some people feeling so alone. How different would our world be if we took some time to up our love game? and in a way, changed our communities, changed our businesses, changed our relationships, and yes, changed ourselves with the power of love. And that's what our Love and Stuff community seeks to do. From here in Detroit, Michigan, to Los Angeles, California, to North Richland Hills, Texas, to Lagos, Nigeria, to the UK, to all of the places where you have been watching and sharing and being a valued India, being a valued part of our community. We want love to reach all of those places. And so this tool of this community is giving us that opportunity to take these elevated voices to all of those places. And so I'm so thankful and excited. Thank you so much. All right. So thankful and excited that we have this opportunity. And so we can't take the tour around the world as we would, but we can certainly bring the tour to you. And in order to do that, we ask that you would purchase a ticket. You can go to the Love and Stuff page now. The event is there. It's $9.99. You can purchase your ticket tonight. And I hope that you will share it with friends, that they will come and join us live here on Love and Stuff. So you won't be able to access the event on Friday unless you have a ticket. So when you go to click on it, it will ask you to access via purchase. So please do that. And we're excited. And hopefully before we get off shortly, that we will have an opportunity to have one of our guests join us here live, just to give you a little taste of what we will be sharing and talking about. So give me some likes, give me some feedback. Will you join us? We would love to have you there. I'm hoping that you will. Hello, Valencia Etner. I'm just gonna send the link to you. Valencia Etner is a member of our Love and Stuff community. As you know, we call her Mama V here. And it's not because she's an old grandmama. No, she's a young mama. But she has a wealth of wisdom, and that's where that mama part of it comes from, in case you didn't know that. I wouldn't want you to think that she's a mama, because she's somebody's hot mama, maybe. That's another show. All right, so I am sharing this link with them live. Isn't this fantastic? All right, here we go. And I hope that you will join us on Friday. It will really be a wonderful event. For those of you that are on LinkedIn, I will make sure that I do a post there on LinkedIn as well. We're trying to put it through all of our platforms, just so that people who want to share can enjoy what I think is going to be a great opportunity. And you've heard the voices are mostly our sisters, brothers. You're welcome to join and be there. We're going to soon debut our men's space. Our senior associate producer is working on that. So we're going to be elevating the voices of some of the brothers within the Love and Stuff community as well. So stay tuned for that. A lot of different content and programming we want to bring to you right here on Love and Stuff. And to do that, we're going to need your support. And so we hope that we continue to have it. Some of you have been wonderful. You've purchased Love and Stuff gear. Some of you have given to causes such as helping with scholarship, helping with the floods, that devastation we've seen in other parts of the country, helping with those that have had health challenges that are in Love and Stuff. You've done the work of Love and Stuff, and we need your support to continue to do that valued work. And so I just sent the link. I hope that I can get a join in from Valencia, Mama V. So I just sent the link there. All right. Double back to that. All right, let's see who's with us. All right. All right. So give me some likes, some loves, give me some feedback. Will you support our endeavor? All right. Okay. Make sure we are good on our platforms. Fantastic. I see some folks on YouTube events. Thank you so much. And thank you, YouTube events. Our folks that follow us on YouTube events, that mostly you're overseas, and I know it's a whole different day. So I appreciate it. And you have asked us, and we are considering having some different times that we're on to accommodate some of your daylight time. Absolutely. I think that is very important. I thank you for watching and tracking with us. I really appreciate it. All right. Okay, very good. Let's check in for Valencia Edner. All right. Give me some shouts out if you're in the state of Ohio, if you're in the state or you have family in the state of Ohio. I think Craig Turner is in Ohio, I believe. You're in North Carolina. I think we had someone here from North Carolina. Anybody here from Pennsylvania? And I know you heard about the shooting of the Black man, and we're still awaiting details. Some say that there was no weapon, that he had no weapon. Some are saying he did and he had mental issues, but I think he was fatally I, I think it was oh, I sent the wrong link. Maybe that would be good. Did I send the right link to you? All right. Hold the line, as Yashika would say, hold the line. All right. Sending this now. No business like show business. Okay. All right. So there's civil unrest that occurred in Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania is an important state. And I hope that those of you that are in the Pennsylvania area are working to get the voices elevated of those persons that might be apathetic. They might be apathetic about voting. They may be on the fence and they just need that one more piece of information. Just one more piece of information. Okay. Right. Just that one more piece of information. Very good. Thank you so much. I'm just tracking with all of the folks that are helping to make Love and Stuff happen behind the scenes. I'm so excited. All right. Hello, Mahasan. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you will click share and tag some folks who's joining us on LinkedIn. I know Kamal is there. Who else is there? Drop in the comments where you are and what the temperature is like there. So grateful that all of you are here. I know I was competing with This Is Us, but I'm gonna keep on competing and have nots. I'm gonna keep on competing. All right. So, all right, cool. Let's see, I'm trying to, all right, give it a second. Okay. All right. Very good. And so Valencia Edner is going to join us in a moment. She's one of our featured guests who brings wisdom to us every Tuesday at, I believe, 11 Central Standard Time with the Encouragement, Thriving Tuesdays. But she's been a part of our Love and Stuff community almost from day one and is a valued member, as all of you are. But she is one of the voices that we want to elevate in this time and season. And we're excited that she's on the roster for Friday. You don't want to miss this powerful and wonderful and maternal and smart and brilliant and socially activated woman, Valencia Edner. She is among those that will join us. 4 of our angels will be with us on Angels Night. And you can go to our page right now. The event is open for you to purchase your ticket. It's only $9.95. No, $9.99. Now, why do I say only? You're going to get a cooking lesson from Yashika, who is from Master Chef Season 8, one of the finalists. You're going to get fine cooking from her. Believe me, I've sat in on cooking lessons and she had me cooking. You're going to get a makeup tutorial on how to beautify, just in small ways, how to beautify yourself, to up your personal love game, right? From the award-winning makeup artist to the stars in film. She's done Shirley Lee Ralph and Vivica Fox and Omari Hardwick and all of these people. You're going to get that makeup tutorial. We're going to have prizes. We have business owners in the Love and Stuff community who have so graciously given prizes. So we'll have a gift certificate to Detroit Couture that you can shop online, so you don't have to necessarily go in the store. So if you live somewhere else, they will ship. We also have one of our Love and Stuff entrepreneurs, serialpreneurs, Christina Smith, who has a credit repair and financial, I'm going to say financial literacy and financial health and wellness organization. She has so graciously given a voucher that you can put toward any of those services that you will be able to win. All of that, plus the power of these speaking women, preaching women, teaching women, edifying women. You can get all of them for this $9.99. You don't want to miss it. If you're concerned about the number spiking and you don't want to go out and hang out, here's a time that you can hang out and have a great time. And you'll have a great time with great information, great opportunities to win, and great resources for your face, your food, and your faith. You can't beat that with a stick. So join us on Friday. It will be live on Facebook, but you have to purchase the ticket to get access. And it's $9.99. $9.99. All right. And so coming in with us is Mama V, Valencia Etner. So glad to have her. All right.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Angry with a technically challenged computer, but other than that, I'm
fine. And I am so excited, Valencia, for the event happening on Friday. I'm excited because I feel like people already get it, right? You're a pastor in Houston, Texas. So there is a congregation of faith, of people, a community of faith of people who get it all the time. But people are going to get some of that wisdom and love that I have gotten over the years. It's really the love and stuff that has been in part when Beneath My Wings. So I'm excited that you're going to be sharing that on Friday. So thank you so much for consenting to be a part of this powerful angels. I'm calling it on Angels Night. So for the people that may not have had, because now I have my LinkedIn community, some are watching and some probably will watch afterwards. Tell us a little bit about Valencia Etner, Detroit born and reared. But I mean, you have such a, singer, musician, actress, And I don't think we often talk about raising some of those things, thespian, actress, all of those great things. We just hear pastor,
Yeah.
and sometimes people think of a pastor in just one little box. But because I know so much more, I want to give the opportunity for you to share a little bit. Who is Valencia Etner?
Definitely not one dimensional. I have been in the arts my entire life. I probably know nothing like I know arts. Those of you in the Detroit area, I'm a Cass Tech graduate, Cass Tech Music Department graduate. And I guess it's just been in my blood my whole life. I come from a family of preachers. I know there are two things I know: music and the church.
Mhm.
I've I grew up in Chapel Hill Baptist Church.
Mhm.
Shout out to Chapel Hill. And
Mhm.
my grandfather was the pastor at that time, Reverend Roy Allen.
Mhm.
And so it was a community of faith, our district work, our state work, a community of faith. That's where I met Marcus. He was, you know, this 10 years between us did 9 years. Let me make real clear, it's 9. This 9 years between us was not was seemed like such a greater distance back then. But being able to be a part of that faith community where we're all still somewhat connected in many ways. Still connected to Kim Jordan, still connected to Valerie McCune, still St. Matthew's and Corinthian and all of the churches that were part of us were still very connected, to Daryl Houston, and was always really excited about what God had done in his life from the Oakland Avenue Baptist Church. And, so we were all connected as Metropolitan District kids. And Dexter Avenue, of course, being the church you grew up in. And so I think it shaped us in a way where we were not afraid of much because they pushed us out there.
Yeah.
I think about Dr. Ernestine Robinson, who is still with us at some 95 years old, who's still pushing. I will never forget us that's a whole nother story, going to Scotland.
Yeah.
And we were mad at her most of the trip, but she made us do the things we needed to do. And that was a blessing. So I grew up in Detroit, had a background in music, went away to college to DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana on a music scholarship. Got there on a vocal music scholarship, realized I had no stage presence. It was driving me nuts. And so I switched my major to theater. I went from there to finishing the degree in theater back at Wayne. I left DePaul after I spent a semester in New York, and DePaul got too small at that point. And so I went back to Wayne State University, where I graduated from. I worked as I had done all my on stage stuff for my degree, so I had to do all my backstage stuff. And so I got the opportunity to work for the Hillberry, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. So I finished, and began working for Wayne. I worked for Wayne State in the financial aid department. And then my aunt, who is 6 years my senior, got married to an actor. And they were living in New York, and I took the plunge. I moved to New York for 3 years. I went to go and see whether I really wanted to be in this business that I thought I loved and all of that. And I ended up teaching in New York. I taught in the Bronx at Junior High School 22 in the Bronx. It was an amazing experience because nestled in that little school was an artistic mecca. I ended up doing the choir there, and the young man, I'll call him young man, older man who was the accompanist for the school was also a jazz musician. And we had a teacher who was friends with the Isley Brothers and all of that. And so I got the opportunity to be with Dizzy Gillespie and the Isley Brothers and all of those people. Anyway, fast forward, came back to Detroit, began to minister again at the church, became minister of music at Chapel Hill, after growing up there and, starting out there. Um, and then in the mid 90s, taught at Murray Wright
Mhm.
uh, High School, where I ended up being the choir director there after being the drama teacher there. And then went back to school. Don't let anybody tell you you can't start over again. Uh, that probably should be what I'm talking about Friday, but it's probably not. Anyway, um, there's nothing wrong with starting over again. And I started over again, moved to Connecticut, started life again, and left Connecticut. And that's how I ended up in Texas. I finished a master's in English and ended up in Texas, where I now have also a master's of theology. I began my doctorate program in the spring because I don't care what age I am, I'm going to keep learning. And so, in the midst of that, between uh, in the last 3 years, I have developed what's called V Encouraged Ministries and V Encouraged, and it is a an encouragement ministry. That's what it's there for. It is not evangelistic. It's not any of that. It's purely encouragement. And we do Thriving Tuesdays, moments of encouragement every Tuesday morning. I send out a message to preachers every Sunday morning called Preach Preacher, which encourages them and gives them a devotional. And then I'm going to begin the encouragement clinics, which is, this is going to be kind of like what my encouragement clinics will be like. And so that's pretty much the long and short of my story in a basket. I'm the daughter of a Methodist preacher, the granddaughter of a Baptist preacher, and the daughter, my mother, of an educator. And all of those things work together to make up who I am.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So a third generation preacher, at least third generation, fourth generation preacher. I want to go back because you moved out east, right? And then, moved west, right?
Yeah.
Kept going west. And so out east, what took you out east?
Oh, New York initially was just, where else would you go
Mhm.
if you are determined to make your mark on the arts?
Mhm.
And I have another project I'm working on right now, which is why I'm not explaining why I didn't keep doing it, because that's part of that project, and I don't want to mess up that. But um, just decided at some point, for reasons like I said, I'll discuss at another time, that it wasn't the life for me.
Mhm.
And so I returned home to Detroit and ended up doing more theater in Detroit than I did in New York.
Mhm.
In fact, I did enough theater to earn all of my regional points to get my equity card, and then
Mhm.
I didn't want it.
Mhm.
So, for those of you who've been in Detroit a long time, well, Beehive was probably on at the Attic Theater, so on production longer than any stage play that wasn't like at the Fisher, but in Detroit history. Beehive is a musical about the music of the 60s and
Mhm.
women of the 60s. And
Mhm.
so it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to not be able to go to the mall. I finally understood why people like couldn't go places, because people would recognize them. We have been doing Beehive so long and done so much promotion that when we would go to the mall, Danita Asbury and I know many of you know Danita, and she's still out in Las Vegas doing her thing and still singing up a storm. But Danita and I would go to the mall and we would like, okay, we got to leave, because people would be like, aren't you? And so on our little bitty scale, we could understand it. So I can't imagine how celebrities handle it. I don't know how they deal with that. But anyway.
And so what was the role that you played in Beehive?
Well, see, Beehive was an ensemble cast. So everyone was an ensemble and you kind of switched back and forth. But my cameo was Aretha Franklin. So I was the Aretha Franklin character in the last section in the cameo. So,
yeah. And what was that like to play someone so largest? And knowing that you're playing her here in Detroit, what was that like? And I know I would have to pull that out of you because you weren't going to offer that to us, but I think that's pretty, it's pretty big to me that you would be playing Aretha Franklin, and she was alive, bless her memory, alive. So how was that? What was that pressure like?
it was a lot of pressure. One, because my father and Reverend Franklin were friends. So my father knew Aretha before Aretha became. And there was some, my mother, they, had some interaction uh, early in Aretha's life. And so it was kind of strange because for me, it was not trying to imitate. It was just tribute to.
Hmm.
I don't have Aretha's chops. I never have, never will. I'm not trying to be Aretha Franklin ever. But it was a wonderful way for me to give tribute to the gift, the beauty of Detroit's own Aretha Franklin. And so it blessed me. I mean, it got my grandfather to the theater, which was an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So, because he didn't do that. So it got him there to be able to appreciate it. So it was rough. It was definitely pressure oriented.
Yeah.
Because Danita was playing Tina Turner right before me. There was one song between us. I had to stop being an Ikette to become Aretha. So it was a lot.
Wow.
A lot. But it was an amazing journy. It was an amazing journey.
I would imagine it took a lot of courage to just pay tribute and a lot of discipline to stick to that because, if the audience thinks that you're playing Aretha, they might be thinking that you're playing to the character and voice. So it would take discipline not to venture out and courage to say, I'm going to give that tribute. And I never knew this part. I knew that part, but I didn't know that you had to change from the Ikette to Aretha. That's a lot of work.
But our reviews were wonderful. The reviewers always understood it was tribute and gave us our props for it. It was, like I said, the reviews were wonderful. Nobody treated it like they thought we were trying to be those characters, but it was truly tribute to them. And so my days in the theater were a blessing to me. They've actually served me in this current vocation calling because I'm not afraid. When we shifted over to this COVID lifestyle we're in, I was not afraid of the camera. And so that made all the difference in the world. For some people, this was their first time in front of the camera. They were not quick on their feet. They didn't know what to do. For me, it's not that kind of situation. So I'm grateful for all of the experiences of my life.
Yeah. I imagine because you've always had to be up front and in public, it does kind of prepare you. Another thing that you didn't mention when we went to Glasgow, Scotland, before praise and worship was praise and worship.
Praise and worship was praise and worship.
We were doing praise and worship on a world stage. And though I think, you say Dr. Robinson pushed us, I think you pushed us too. But this is what we're called to do. You understand that this is what we're getting ready to do. And so I think we all just said, oh, okay, not really knowing the impact of that or what that would mean years down the road for us in music and on platforms and stages. It prepared us to do all of those things. And not thinking that, being 18, I was just thinking, well, I'm going wherever Valencia's going. I'm doing whatever she's doing. And then I thought about, well, it's a lot of people. This place is filling up pretty quick. It's a lot of people. And say, well, okay, well, we've heard their music. Now they're going to hear ours.
I think it's interesting, Marcus, that life will take that bold woman, that bold young woman, and life will take and put her back under a rock for years. And when I hear you talk about her, I realize I'm her again now, almost. But I wish I had just kept harnessing her.
Mhm.
So it's taken me aback a little bit to hear about her,
Yeah.
because there's an acquiescence in what life makes you fall into, because everyone can't receive your um, everyone can't receive that focus,
Mhm.
that we've got to get this done, we're going to do it. Everyone couldn't receive that from me, and
Mhm.
I can now see how I retreated a
Mhm.
bit
Mhm.
over the years.
Yeah.
And so it's time to bring her back. Where is she?
I'm interested to hear how you retreated and why, if it doesn't infringe upon the other project that you're doing. My estimation of it is the people who knew how large you were couldn't receive it, and the most people didn't know how large you were.
Well, that's good. The people around me, when we return home, you go back to being that little fish in the big pond. We lived in Detroit,
Mhm.
where there was a chirper on every corner and somebody who would sing you up underneath the table. And I wasn't her.
Mhm.
I mean, I could hold my own, but I wasn't her,
Mhm.
and so it makes you, it keeps you humble. It keeps you with some humility, but
Mhm.
sometimes it'll make you shrink.
Mhm.
It'll make you shrink because you don't see yourself as being that.
Mhm.
And then there are those who would want you to shrink, so they don't provide an environment to propel and push you into that next level.
And let me ask you this, do you think that those people wanted you to shrink because they knew how large you were? Because that's the point that I think I'm raising. I think people want you to shrink because it's going to infringe upon how large they want to be and know that they aren't.
And I
That's
think it's that, but I also think it's that people don't do change well.
yeah.
They want you in the box they want you in, because that's the box they have you in.
Mhm.
And anything more than that puts you in a place that's uncomfortable for them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I really believe a lot of that. And I think that some of it was just, the desire to be, you know, in that space where you had everything lined up. I was watching all of my girlfriends, all of my friends get married and have families, and here I am traipsing across and doing, and so I felt like, you wonder what goes on in the mind of a 27, 28-year-old who is looking at life through a lens that no one else is looking at life through. And you begin to feel like, well, there's something wrong with me, and so it's just interesting, all of the twists and turns that happened. And then you look up and you're 50.
Mhm.
I mean, you literally look up and you're 50. You go through all of that. You look up. This is a lesson for those of you who are listening to this, whatever time you're listening to it, and you are between the ages of 25 and 40. Please, sir, please, ma'am, utilize all of that time. Find everything it is that you are in that time, because you will look up and be 50.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with being 50.
Yeah.
It's just that when you're at 50 and you're looking back and you want to go grab that 36-year-old stuff that you didn't get done,
Mhm.
and nobody will let you because you're no longer 36.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, I
Yeah.
started preaching when I was 40. And so those people who are my contemporaries preaching wise, who started younger, are 40. And I'm closer to that, I'm over 50. So it makes for a difference. And all the people who are my age, who are preachers, have been preaching for 30 years, 35 years. And so they're jaded
Mhm.
by, they're tired. They're looking for retirement. And I'm like, what's next?
Mhm.
So it's a very strange place that I'm in.
Mhm.
in this, but I'm good for it. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all the changes I have to make to be able to say stuff like I'm here for it. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited about. I tell the young adults in our church that I'm the oldest young adult there is, because I need to stay in that space in order to be the effective preacher that I feel like I need to be. 17 years in. So yeah.
So Friday will be here before we know it, and
Who you telling?
and what can we don't just give us a glimmer of
Yeah.
what can we expect to hear from Mama V about this? What are some ingredients? No, I don't want you to tell me ingredients. You're gonna tell me Friday. What can we expect?
Well, what I want you to think about is the things that there are, you go to the store and you can get specialty items, you can get novelty items, things that you can get from the specialty counter. But if you get home and you don't have the staples, there's nothing you can do with those specialty things. So everything I'm talking about is going to be a staple, because I believe that you got to make sure your pantry is full of staples. And if you can get those staples in, if you can remember what it is that you have to use in order to take all of those ingredients and make them something, then you'll be prepared for what I'm cooking on Friday.
That sounds wonderful. I love it. I'm hungry. I hope that everybody else is too, and we'll go and purchase their ticket now. I was sharing earlier on that my vision around this Love and Stuff tour was to elevate voices in our community that will help people up their love game. And from very early on, of course, I'm biased because your voice has been in my mind from very early on. But very early on, I said, this is one of the voices that I want us to travel around to share these tools and resources, really, for people to use to have better love for themselves, for God, and for their neighbors. And then COVID, right? And so I'm like, okay, we can't really say we're going on tour. So we got to bring the tour to people's homes, which, God has a way. I am just so pleased that you're part of this inaugural part of our tour, this leg of our tour, in part because you do have all of this theater background, right? And so you can help us through these stage moments, and anybody who might have stage fright. But there comes a moment and a time in everybody's life when they get on a new stage. And so I think it's important to have someone who understands the stage, who is now owning the stage, even if you've been under the rock and away from the stage. Ma'am, you're owning the stage. With V Encouragement, with your church, you're owning the stage, standing forward during that time of devastation in Houston, making Detroiters proud of the work that you're doing. And owning that stage, I just need women and men to see. I think it's important to hear that wherever you are in your life, whatever age you are in your life, it truly is a number, and not only a number of reflection of what you didn't accomplish, but a number for grace of what you still can.
Yes.
And so I need everybody to see Valencia Etner, who we call Mama V, on the stage on Friday, the stage of our living room or our kitchen, sharing this information, because you too can maximize and optimize your life. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about you taking the stage, mounting the stage, as it were, and sharing, because you said it, you got to stay in that space so that you can be relevant. And there's so many people who have the story or have these moments of, I wish I had, or, I could have been a singer. There was a time I stopped really singing, just directing and doing stuff. And so there might be contemporaries that's like, well, I'm looking for a retirement. I'm like, retirement? What,
How do you tired from that. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
but different people, are at different places. And if I just today say, well, I can no longer do it, I'm ignoring the work of there are people that, your age and more that are still singing and still sounding great and still on the stages that God has called for them to be on, impacting the people that He's called for them to impact. So I think your message is so powerful and relevant. I can't wait to see what you're cooking and what we can join you in cooking. Thank you so much.
All right. So just make sure you're here. Please tell others. I'm going to push this out to those who are in my Be Encouraged in my Thriving Tuesday community. And prayerfully, they will show up. And it is a nominal fee. It's less than movie and popcorn. And so prayerfully, people will believe that making their lives better because they have had a meal that is at least four-coursed
Yeah.
from four different women,
Yeah.
four-coursed, that they will be able to find something in that nourishment that
Yeah.
gives them strength to keep pushing. So
Yeah. And I think there will be plenty of variety in it. I know there are some commonalities. Tabitha recently had to say goodbye to her mom. I know that you have lost your mom as well. So that moving through grief. And
and the 29th is the anniversary of her death.
Wow.
To do this on the 30th
Wow.
uh, uh, is a lot, but it's what she would want me to be doing. So therefore,
Wow.
I'm good.
I always, your mom could make me laugh hysterically and scare me to pieces in the same moment.
That was her.
But I loved when I think of her, I think of somebody who has grit.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine her being a person that's like, well, just, life kicked me. She would be the person to kick life back. She had that grit about her.
Quiet fighter. Quiet fighter.
Yeah. Do you feel that she passed that? What did she pass down to you that you say, oh, I'm definitely her daughter?
No give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what life kicks you, where the life puts you. I got her thriftiness because I won't buy anything that's not on sale, and I got her grit, and I think I got some of her cooking skills, but I don't know how to cook and talk. So therefore, when we cook something again, I'll be ready to cook and talk as opposed to talk about, I'm afraid I'd be cooking and, mess up on something trying to cook and talk, but we'll leave that to the chef.
Yes.
Able to do because she's used to doing that. And, but yet I did gain some of her cooking skills and I'm grateful for that because my mother was quite the cook. I never had to cook when she was alive. Not really. But I can see her rise up in me over as I get older. Yeah. The older I get, the more she shows up.
What was your favorite dish that she cooked? What did she cook among your favorites?
Oh, wow. My mother cooked, I think it's probably was her roast. She, and then she was the barbecuer of life. My mother she made her own sauce. She cooked it. My mother was the barbecuer of life. She was the family barbecuer. And so this past holiday, I decided I was cooking. I hadn't done it. I bought a grill. I just said, I'm doing that, and turned out fine. So I'm grateful for her gifts in that kitchen. She was quite gifted. She could take nothing and make something out of it.
And you have children, godchildren, yes. Right? And what have you passed down to them from her? What would you say you've passed down to them?
Probably the grit. My mother was a caring, loving woman who did not show her emotions on her sleeve. And I've learned to do that and probably passed it down to others. I know that my goddaughter, who is the same age as you, so I don't even know why she's might be a few years younger. She's a few years younger, but Karen really got that from both sides. She got from her family, that the Dukes family, the Poole family, she got that. But she also got it from my mother, because she lived with us for quite some time. And my mother just taught her, I think Karen is the mother that she is because she, mama was the quintessential mother, you know, um, to pour into her children. And that meant me as her child and all the other children she received in her life. And I think that's part of why I do that too, because she was mama to many and had her own special relationship with everyone. No two relationships were alike. And I'm grateful for that because that's a legacy I also live in.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So yeah, there'll be great variety, stories, hopefully of mother's recipes and cooking maybe, and also relationships. And so I know there are those that are divorced and those that have been in relationship and those that are loving again. Um, where would you say that you are on that spectrum?
Hopeful.
Okay.
I think that that's the best way for me to put it. Life has thrown me some things,
Yeah.
and all I asked God for was to leave me my heart, because I never want to be without my heart because I want to be able to love. I
Mhm.
believe that love is an amazing thing and that we all should strive to, be in a position where God can place us
Mhm.
in a loving situation and be open to love when love comes. But I'm a hopeful romantic. I'm a Hallmark girl. So as oaky as that sounds, with everything else that I do, this is my season. I'm a Hallmark girl from October through January. Don't judge me. It's feel good. It's hopeful, and I think we all need a little hope,
Mhm.
And you could say it's chick flicky and all of that, whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, but it gives me a sense of hope, and hope is necessary.
It is definitely
So
necessary.
I'm not a hopeless romantic. I'm
Okay.
a hopeful one.
A hopeful. Okay. All right. Well, I am so glad we've had this time to talk to you. It's always great to have you here in the Love and Stuff community. Your voice is a voice to be reckoned with. Before I let you go, though, I was sharing earlier, more details come out. The Washington Post is talking about Mr. Trump and how he used his properties to host. And he told one prime minister that one of his properties was the Southern White House, supposedly. So, to the tune of $2.5 million, he spent taxpayer dollars at facilities that he owned or owns. What does that say to you about this president?
I think that we have had a grand lesson over the last 4 years in what lack of character looks like.
Mhm.
I think we've been taught what lack of integrity looks like. And I think that it's allowed us to look at even the most marginal of our presidents and see them with esteem.
Mhm.
It's making me look at a W different. So, I know, I know that's major.
Mhm.
Um, there's an emoluments clause. He knows that. Even if you're not a politician, you're a businessman enough to know when you're in a conflict of interest situation. But the truth of the matter is, this man does not care.
Mhm.
And we've got to stop thinking of him in ways where we think that there's this amount of empathy that's going to kick in. It's not going to kick in because he doesn't have it. But this is what I do want to say, because I got a meeting in 15 minutes, Marcus. I want to say this, and I mean this with all my heart. Black men, talk to your young brothers, especially those in the Midwest, because they are tripping, because they have allowed their quest for money to be greater than their quest for righteous living, for being a good man. Because when you follow someone who is this not good at the core, Even your family members know you're not good at the core, but you're willing to support that person. It's like the meme I saw yesterday. You can't tell me you love me and then support somebody who intends to hurt me. You can't. So let's talk to our younger people in our families who are looking at the surface of life. They're not looking at the residual effects or the far reaching consequences of making a decision like that. And, we can sit and talk about all the wrong that this man has done today until just today, until your time is up tonight, and then still have more to talk about. But I think we've got to press beyond his wrongness and get to our rightness and get to our harnessing who and what we want to be as a people and as a country. And to know that, yes, we've got a long way to go. We've got some things to fix, but now is the best. This is a wonderful time to begin to fix those things. We just got to press past this. And we got to recognize that there are some who aren't going to be able to press past it. That, unfortunately, you've got those like the people who, plotted against your governor, who would do harm to people who don't think like them, who don't want to be in the circle that they want to be in, but they're not new. This is not new. It happened in the Bible days. We know that that happens. So we just have to harness our hope, our faith, our strength, our empathy for one another, up our love game, and decide that we love each other more than we dislike him, and do everything in our power to show that love in action. Do our best to be our best and not let that derail us. Because what he does is he wins. Every time we spend so much time talking about how bad he is, he wins because he's our subject of conversation. So let's talk about, what do we do beyond November 8th or 9th, because it's not going to be the 3rd. What do we do beyond that that's different? How do we harness this love that we've been saying we need to regain and show for one another? How do we press past the negativity and the evil and begin to rebuild, or to build even a beautiful community? Martin Luther King called it the beloved community. How do we get to beloved community? That's what I want to talk about. How do we get to beloved community? How do we learn how to love again? How do we not be suspect of one another again? I don't like that I'm suspect of everyone that doesn't look like me, and some that do. I don't like that I'm that way. So I want to do whatever I need to do to harness the love again. I'm with Joe Biden on this. This is a fight for the soul of America, not for the White House. This is for the soul of America. Who do we want to be? Those who scratch each other's eyes out and get a trophy, or those who are able to empathize with where the other person is and be of assistance and really walk out this thing we say we believe in our faith? So that's where I am.
I appreciate you, and thank you so much for coming. I think we got much soul searching if we want to find our soul. So I agree with you there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Love you. See you on Friday. Please tell your friends, tell your folk around, just shoot it out there. You never know who may pick up on it. And people need this. People need to be lifted. And here's an opportunity for them to be lifted. So we're going to cook up some stuff and see how it helps us have really substantial nourishment for our lives.
Thank you so much. That was Valencia Etner joining us, and she will be with us Friday. Will you join us Friday at 7:00 p.m. Love and Stuff presents She's Cooking Something. Valencia Etner, Tabitha Goodner, Rashida the Glam Dr. LaShawn, and our special guest, Master Chef Season 8 finalist, Yashika Holston. You can go to our page now, click the link, purchase your access. It's $9.99. It will include free prize giveaways. It will include some wonderful businesses that are in the Love and Stuff community have graciously donated some opportunities for discount and gift cards. There will be a cash prize. There will be a makeup tutorial right during live. So get your makeup together so that you can have it. And there will be some recipes that you can cook up for your family and for your life. It's food for your face. It's for your face, your food, and your family. Face, food, family, and faith. How about that? Recipes and ingredients that you can use to up your love game. I'm Marcus Holmes. Look to see you Friday. I hope you will purchase your access now. Have a great evening.